Good morning. Do you have your cup of tea? Do you have your cat? All right, well, let's just wiggle around a little and settle in. If you have cats or kids or dogs or anything climbing all over you, that's okay. That's okay. We can meditate with cats and kids and dogs. And let's just find a comfortable spot and settle in with your fingers on your teacup, feeling the warmth of the teacup and the weight in the palm of your hands. You can smell your tea. Think about the aroma as it moves into your nose and down into your lungs. And as you take a sip, you can feel the warmth in your mouth and the flavor of your tea. Today seems like a good time to think about flexibility. It's been on my mind a lot lately because things don't always go the way that we want them to. And that can be devastating. That can be so disruptive. Or it can be no big deal. And you've probably experienced both of those outcomes. At some point, you've probably had all of your plans go completely sideways and said, go with the flow. And at some other point, you may have had even really much smaller plans get disrupted. And it might have been really upsetting, might have thrown you. Even when you sit to meditate, you might have an intention to focus your mind and spend a few quiet moments, and then everything around you conspires to make that impossible. The cats jump up on you and the kids run through the room and your spouse or roommate calls, where's the toilet paper? Where's the whatever? And you think, can't I even just get one moment of quiet? These are times for flexibility. When we can remain flexible, not too tightly tied to any one outcome, it's easier to go through life. When we're very committed to a particular outcome, sometimes that's great, sometimes that's goal-oriented, but if it doesn't turn out that way, it also becomes hard to adapt. So maybe today a little bit we can think about how much flexibility is the right amount of flexibility. How much do we need to hold on to our ideas of how things should go versus go with the flow and adapt as we need to. On any given day, the balance between those two is flexible. But for right now, while we're all in this strange, disrupted time, some of us at home trying hard to maintain as much of our regular work as we can, some of us out in the world because we are working essential jobs, maybe working way harder than we normally would with very little time to rest. All of us with all different kinds of worries and uncertainties. This is a great time to practice flexibility. And when you find your day is not going the way that you planned, you're having trouble to be flexible about it, you can sit down with a cup of tea and just focus on the tea for a while. Allow yourself to set aside all of your thoughts about what was supposed to happen just for a few minutes and focus on the tea. You might be really distressed, and you might find it easier to do a little bit of stretching. When you work on flexibility in your body, that also impacts flexibility in your mind and in your emotional self. And so if you're so upset about the way that things are going that you don't think you can sit still with a cup of tea, that's okay. Try stretching a little. Try bending over to stretch the back of your legs, and while you're doing it, now you're looking upside down at the world. That gives you a new perspective, and it may give you a way to start to think about how you can adapt to what's going on. It's silly, but it might save you. For now, let's just have another deep breath. Bring our focus back to our cup of tea. Think about all the ideas we have about this day, and just for a moment, let go of them. Just for a moment, allow them to not be a priority. We can go back to them later. We can try to make them all happen. But for just this moment, just in your own mind, let go of them and see how that feels. See how it feels to just sit quietly, letting go of all your expectations for this day. And maybe take another sip of tea. Even if it feels hard to come to terms with outcomes that we don't anticipate or don't prefer, coming back to a moment of quiet can help us to get grounded and find a place to start to build adaptability. Thanks, teacup. That's a hard lesson for me. It's a difficult thing for me to do. But sitting down for a minute makes it easier. And when I can't do that, then stretching for a minute makes it easier. So today we'll just try to be flexible and adaptable for whatever happens. And I'll see you tomorrow with another cup of tea.